Hello all, welcome to the next lesson of the JSP series. In the previous lessons, we had already seen the introduction to JSP. We had talked about features of JSP and we had seen how a JSP page can be converted to a servlet. Then we'd see life cycle of the JSP, architecture of the JSP. We had seen how JSP processing is done and we had seen what is the JSP environment and how we can execute the JSP page. And in the previous lesson, we talked about JSP syntax, the components, we talked about JSP directives, where we talked about the page directive, the include directive, the taglib directive, declaration tag. We had seen expression tags of the JSP. We had seen scriptlet tags. In today's lesson, we will be talking about JSP implicit objects and JSP actions. So let's see what are the JSP implicit objects. These implicit objects are the Java objects that the JSP container makes available to the developers in each JSP page. And the developer can call them directly without being explicitly declared. That's why they are called implicit objects, because they do not need to be declared as they are predefined variables. Let's see what are the JSP implicit objects. One is the out object, which is used as a PrintWriter object and used to send output to the client. Next is the request object, which is similar to the HttpServletRequest object and associated with the client request. Response object is used to respond to the client, to send the response to the client. Session object is used to maintain the session and sharing the data from one page to the other page. Application object is used to manage the application context. The config object, this is associated with the ServletConfig object of the page. PageContext object that encapsulate use of server specific features for the high performance JSP writers. Page object, this is a simply synonym for this and is used to call the methods defined by the translated servlet class. We'll see the examples of these objects in further slides. The exception object is used to handle the exceptions on the JSP pages. So let's see first JSP out implicit objects, as we had already seen that this is used to write any data to the buffer, and JSP provides an implicit object to print onto the JSP page. We can use the print method of this out object and then can pass any message or any variable inside the parameters to get the output. So inside the JSP tags field out object, we can use the print method to print some message or print the value of some variable. Next is the request object, which is an implicit object as similar to the HTTP servlet request, and this is used to accept the request from the client in the form of a parameter, header, information. We can get the remote address, server name, server port, content time, and a lot more. Let's see an example that we have index.jsp where we have a user input component that is input type text. So this is a text box from where user can input the name, and this is a button. On clicking on this submit button, we are going to the welcome.jsp. Now inside this welcome.jsp, with the help of the request object, we can get the parameter that is associated with this text box in the previous JSP file. So the request object, with the help of the get parameter function, will pass the object name, and this will get the username into the string name. Then we can use the out object to print the username on the next page. The response object is used to transfer the response to the client, or we can say it is used to handle each JSP request. It can be used to add or manipulate responses such as redirect responses to another resources, send errors, and etc. Again, we have a form for the user where user have an input type text box where user can input the username, and using this submit button it can click and go to the welcome.jsp where the user will be redirected using this response object. It has been redirected to some other website. So once the user will click on button, it will go to the welcome.jsp, and from welcome.jsp the response of redirection will be sent to the client. The client will be redirected to a new website that is mentioned inside this parameter. Next is the config implicit object. It is an implicit object of type ServletConfig. This object can be used to get initialization parameter for a particular JSP page. The config object is created by the web container for each JSP page. In the same way, we have the index.jsp where we have a form, one component for the user as a text box to input some information, one button to trigger the action by the user. And on the welcome.jsp, we can use this request parameter to get the username. We can use the out object to print the username, and even we can get the driver name using the config get init parameter dname. This parameter is defined into another XML file that is called as the web.xml file. And from that web.xml file, we are fetching the configuration, some parameters, and we are storing into the string value. And now we can print this string value. Now let's go and see what is inside the web.xml that we are trying to get here using the config object. So this is the web.xml where we have the web app servlet tag, and this is the init parameter tag where we have created a parameter with name dname and the value with some driver name. Let's say sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. So this is the parameter value and this is the parameter name. So this parameter defined in the web.xml can be accessed here with the config object, and we can fetch that driver name and store into this string variable driver. So this is how we can use the config object. The application implicit object, this is the ServletContext object. It is the instance of this ServletContext created only once by the web container when application or project is deployed on the server. This object can be used to get initialization parameter from the configuration file. That's the web.xml we had seen in the previous example. And it can also be used to get, set, or remove attributes from the application scope. So this is a simple example. The same example, we have a form. User can input the name, can click on the submit button. On clicking the submit button, user will go to the welcome.jsp. This welcome.jsp is using request object to get the username from the previous file, and it is using the application object to get the initial parameter which we had already seen. This is the init parameter, can be accessed with the help of the config object as well as can be accessed with the help of the application object. So we are using your application object to get this init parameter and storing the driver's name into the string driver. The pageContext implicit object is an implicit object of pageContext class, and this can be used to set, get, or remove attributes from one of the scopes like page scope, request scope, session scope, and even the application scope. By default in JSP, the scope is page. The page implicit object is an implicit object of type object class, and this is assigned to the reference of auto-generated server class and of type object. As it is of type object, it can directly be called just by using this operator. So this, we can use this .log and we can write any message. So these are the page and other implicit objects. This is the exception implicit object. It is used to handle the exceptions and print the user an exception value or the error message. So you can see with the help of the example here, we are using the scope as a page and then we are simply using the expression tag to print the exception occurred in the page. Now let's talk about the JSP action tags. These are the constructs in the XML syntax to control the behavior of the servlet engine. Using these JSP action tags, one can dynamically insert a file, reuse Java Bean components, forward the user to another page, or generate HTML for the Java plugin. So these JSP actions can be said to be used as dynamic forwarding or dynamic flow control of the pages. So here are some few JSP action tags like JSP forward, and this forwards the request and response to another resource. JSP include is used to include another resource in the JSP page. JSP use bean, it creates or locates the Java objects. JSP set property sets the values of the property in bean object. Get property prints the value of property of the bean object. JSP plugin that embeds another components such as an applet into the JSP page. JSP param sets the parameter value. It is used to forward and include with the help of with the forward and include. We can use this JSP param. JSP fallback can be used to print a message if plugin is working. It is used in with the Java JSP plugins. We also have JSP attributes and other action tags. Let's see how JSP forward action tag is used with a parameter. Let's say we have an index.jsp where we have some JSP forward, and with this that the page title with the page that to which page we are going to forward the request, that is the print data.jsp. We are using a param action tag also just to get the parameter from this and then we'll transfer this parameter to the print data.jsp, and inside the print data.jsp with the help of the out object and print method we can print the details, and even where we can print the parameter we had accessed. We can access in here with the help of the request object with .get parameter method. So here we are printing the parameter as well that was passed with the JSP param action tag. So JSP forward tag is forwarding user from this index.jsp to print data.jsp, where we are printing some information and we are also accessing the parameters that was forwarded from the previous page to the print data page. The JSP include tags that is used inside, let's say here for an example, index.jsp. We can include this page, any print data.jsp, where all the content of the print data.jsp are included in this page, and that will be added to the output page as well. There is a difference between include action tag and include directive. The include action tag is more dynamic as compared to include directive. So that's all for the day today. We had covered JSP objects, JSP implicit objects, and JSP action tags in today's lesson. We will be covering JSP variables, JSP methods, JSP conditional processing, and how we can share the data between JSP pages in the upcoming lesson series of the JSP. Thank you so much.